I have a couple different personal backgrounds here. One, I was a mayor of this town for 10 years, and so I dealt with obviously our police department. We had a chief of police that was terrific, and a sergeant who became the first woman sergeant. She's now the chief of police. He became the sheriff of our county, and two individuals of high character.
Right.
And that is where it started. But it also was very paramount from the beginning that they wanted, needed, and received the funding for training,
Yes.
both on and off site, because they had to get into other scenarios with other groups of people in order for them to be able to take things to the next level. So that's number one. Number two, I have two children who are in law enforcement. I have one daughter who is with the City of Wyoming Police Department, and I have a son who's a deputy in Newaygo County Sheriff's Department. Both got their bachelor's from Ferris State University in criminal justice, but we've seen changes, obviously, but we hear from both of them about both the training and what they're running into. But the one thing that we've learned with both of them, they're both high character people. Both well respected, not just in their departments, but in their communities. And when I say that, it is what you mentioned is exactly important. Is that my daughter is head of public safety, or with Kalamazoo Public Schools. She is the liaison that is hired there from the City of Wyoming Police Department. So, but when she's not there, she's working in the same district with the same people.
Right.
So again, that respect level goes deep with the people within that community, and it is vital that that all our officers have a connection both with their community as well as with their other officers. And as a sheriff, it is kind of a political position versus where you've been, but your experience and what you've done will carry over a lot into making sure as a sheriff that you get the funding to provide maybe that you didn't have in there. And I think there needs to be some bridges here between political and on the ground, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But there has to also, it starts at home. The respect of all people starts at home.
Exactly.
And if you don't have that, then there's a breakdown that happens. And I think that's a challenge that you will have as a sheriff. It's a challenge you have in law enforcement. What do you see personally in the Kalamazoo area right now as to how they're dealing with all this, both as an officer and now that you're not in that position but running? How do you see that coming together in this next 6 months there?
Well, great. That is a fantastic question. Once again, and you're going to hear this is going to be kind of repetitive for me. It starts with relationship. We know, and historically, it has come to fruition that law enforcement is going to do and has done, at least in my career, it's come through and emphasized a great deal on building those community relationships. However, it had to get there's still an element of a check the box mentality, right? So we had this training, check the box. We're going to go do this event, check the box. Sometimes that approach seems more structured and less meaningful. We need to go back to the foundation of building meaningful relationships, right? And it has to be done within the confines of non-traditional interaction with law enforcement. So it should be when, in this case, position I'm running for, a deputy's out on patrol. When he has time or she has time, you're stopping in and getting to know your business owners, right? But you're also stopping by if somebody's out mowing their lawn. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Introduce yourself. Start to build those relationships one contact at a time. And throughout your entire shift, you may be able to reach out and touch, depending upon calls that day or other responsibilities that you have, you could touch, 5, 10, maybe more people throughout the course of that shift. And it's just showing that you care, right? That you're developing relationships. Well, what does that do? How does that trickle down? That trickles down to individuals that normally would not, maybe, call the police when they see something. They might reach out to that officer specifically and go, hey, I saw there was a car parked behind this business, or whatever it may be. You're getting information which is going to allow you to be more efficient and effective in bringing people that are doing crimes in your community, taking them out of the community. So the goal is to provide the safest, and securest communities so that we don't have issues related to crime, right? Now, how do we diminish that? I'm a proponent of diminishing it through the relationship. You have to have the dialogue, and we have to be transparent in that. As far as Kalamazoo goes right now, everything is so heated nationally and within Kalamazoo, and that's okay. And I understand where we are nationally. There's righteous anger there. But how do we now going to come together, and how are we going to now be able to have dialogue and say, okay, how do we move forward? We need to heal. We need to heal within communities. We need to heal within this country, and it's going to take leaders to come forward, to step up to the plate, and to lead, and to be willing to have uncomfortable conversations, and then to be able to position ourselves and work together with our community to move the community forward in partnership. It's all about a partnership. Law enforcement derives our authority from the people that we serve. And I think we have to remember that. And I think we have to understand that it is a partnership, and we're there to serve, and we're there to protect, but we want their help. And we want them to know that we're there to help our citizens.